Hello and welcome to Math Matters. I'm Ms. Granados and today we're going to be learning about representing data using stem and leaf plot. At the end of the lesson, you will know you have met today's learning intention if you are able to meet this following success criteria. I can correctly input the stems and leaves in ascending order. I can title the stem and leaf plot. I can include a key. You will need some paper, something to write with, and a ruler or straight edge. So go ahead and gather your supplies and come right back. What do you notice? What do you wonder? You may have noticed the word stem and the word leaf at the top. You may have noticed that there are these two lines that are in the form of a T-chart. You may have noticed that the digits in the stem column are in order vertically, and the digits in the leaves are in order from least to greatest horizontally. I also noticed that there are digits that are repeated in the horizontal rows, but are not repeated in the vertical stem. I counted 2 6s in the first row, 2 5s and 3 7s in the second row, and I counted 5 zeros in the third row. Finally, I noticed that there's a key over here to the side. I wonder what this data could represent. What are you thinking the data could represent? Well, let's talk some more about this type of graphical representation and then revisit what this data could represent later in the video. Stem and leaf plots are used to show the frequency of data when using whole number data. So let's represent this data of the number of fat grams of food items at 7-Eleven. The first step in creating a stem and leaf plot is to put the data in order, from least to greatest. I'm going to create my list of ordered numbers and mark them off as I go. In this table, I counted 12 pieces of data, or 12 numbers. The lowest data value is 7, and the highest value is 31. So let's put the data in order from least to greatest. I'm going to create my list of ordered numbers and mark them off as I go. I need to remember to include every piece of data even if the number repeats, like with the lowest value. 7 appears twice, so I need to list it twice. After creating my list of numbers in order, I double check that I wrote 12 data values. 7, 7, 8, 8, 10, 14, 15, 16, 16, 19, 21, 31. I count 12 pieces of data. So now I'm going to put the ordered list to the side, and my next step is to draw a line vertically and another horizontally so that they intersect. Step 3 is to label the top left side stem and the top right side leaf. Step 4 is to find the least and the greatest pieces of data. My least piece of data is 7 and my greatest is 31. Knowing this will help me determine where I will begin and end with my stem list. If all of my leaves need to be 1 digit, then I need to determine my stem. The number 7 only has 1 digit, and the number 31 has 2 digits. A digit in the ones place and a digit in the tens place. The number 7 with only 1 digit in the ones place has what digit in the tens place? There are 0 tens in the number 7, so 0 will replace the question mark. And now I can fill in my stems beginning at 0 and ending at 3 to account for the 3 tens in the number 31. So now let's determine our leaves. The leaves are the digits in the ones place. I'm highlighting all of the numbers that have 0 tens in them, and I'm going to move them to the row with 0 tens. Next, I will highlight all of the numbers with a 1 in the tens place and transfer that data to the leaves with a stem of 1. But because all of my leaves should only have 1 digit in them, I need to delete all of my 10 values. I still have my values represented within my stem and leaf plot because my stem accounts for all of the tens. Here's the 10, 14, 15, 16, 16, and here's the 19 represented in the stem and leaf plot. For 21, I just need to put a 1 in the leaf column because the 2 in the stem column represents the 2 tens in the number 21. Finally, with one data value left of 31, I write the 1 in the leaf column of the stem, row 3. I check to make sure that I count 12 pieces of data in both my stem and leaf plot and my set of data. 4 values plus 6 make 10 and then 2 more. Yes, I have 12 pieces of data in my leaves and in my original list of data. I write my title, and lastly, I add a key. 2/1 means 21 grams of fat. The key will clarify the value of the numbers and what they represent in the stem and leaf plot. Now it's your turn to create a stem and leaf plot. Let's take a look at the high temperatures from April 1st through April 14th, 2020 in Mérida, Mexico. What are you noticing about the data? I'm noticing that it was hot in Mérida, Mexico this past April. I also noticed that there are 2 columns of data with 7 temperatures in each column So there are 14 total data points. I'll need to remember that later. Here are the steps to creating a stem and leaf plot. Go ahead and place your data in order from least to greatest, which is step 1. Okay, are you ready? Is this what you came up with? If not, make some corrections so that your list matches this list. All right, what will you do next? Okay, is this what you have on your paper, or is this what you were thinking? If so, then you're correct. So then what's next? Yep, we need to determine the stems. And to help us with that, we need to identify the lowest and greatest data values. The least is 95, and the greatest is 108. We know from the last stem and leaf plot that all of the leaves will be one-digit numbers. So, what will our stems be? In the number 95, we have a 5 in the ones place and a 9 in the tens place. In the number 108, there are 8 ones and 0 tens. Well, yeah, we have a 0 in the tens place, but then we also have a 1 in the hundreds place. So how many tens are in 100? Yeah, 10 tens is the same as 100. So in the number 108, we have 8 ones, and we'll say that we have 10 tens. So our stem should have a 9 and a 10. Go ahead and write down or think about what needs to be done next. Use this list to help you. Go ahead and write down or think about what needs to be done next. Well, this is the correct next step. You put in all the leaves in order from least to greatest. Did you count up the number of leaves? There are 14 leaves and there were 14 temperatures in our original data. So what will the final stem and leaf plot look like? That's right, we still need a title and a key. So once you put that in, you're done. Great work. So now let's return to our notice and wonder graph. What could this data represent? Well, let's think of the two stem and leaf plots we created today. One was titled Number of Fat Grams in Food Items at 7-Eleven, and the other one, High Temperatures in Mérida, Mexico, April 1st through 14th, 2020. Which of those two titles make the most sense for this line plot? Well, if these are my two choices, then I'm leaning towards fat grams in food because these numbers are really low. However, an argument could be made for high temperatures depending on the place in the world and the time of year. Or the temperatures may be written in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. Which title do you prefer? Don't forget to explain why. Let's reflect. Today we focused on representing data using a stem and leaf plot. We started by putting all of our data in order from least to greatest. Then we determined our stems by looking at the digits in the tens place. It might seem strange to have a 2-digit number in our stem column, but that's what happens when our values are above 2-digit numbers. Then we made sure to account for all the ones place values in our leaf section. Finally, we added our title and key. What does the stem and leaf plot tell us about the frequency of the temperatures in Mérida, Mexico? Well, we'll spend some more time interpreting our data in a stem and leaf plot in an upcoming video. How did you do today working towards our learning intention? As I read each of the success criteria for today, use your thumb to reflect on where you are in your understanding. Give a thumbs up if you feel like you got it, a thumb in the middle if you're still practicing, or a thumb down if you need help from a teacher or someone at home. I can correctly input the stems and leaves in ascending order. I can title the stem and leaf plot. I can include a key. In today's episode of Math Matters, we learned about representing data using a stem and leaf plot. In a future video, we'll focus on interpreting data in stem and leaf plots. I'm Ms. Granados. Have a mathematical day and keep on counting.